Laughs roll out like thunder cracks, every secret spilling through the cracks. What the fuss, what's the word today? Spill the tea, don't let it slip away. Tell me, Lord, don't hold it back. We're chasing truth on this winding track. Tables shaking with the beat of our feet, gossip flowing like a fever heat. Whispers turn to shouts in this crazy mess. Life's a story dying to confess. What the fuss, what's the word today? Spill the tea, don't let it slip away. Tell me, Lord, don't hold it back. We're chasing truth on this winding track. Tables shaking with the beat of our feet, gossip flowing like a fever heat. Whispers turn to shouts in this crazy mess. Life's a story dying to confess. What the fuss, what's the word today? Spill the tea, don't let it slip away. Tell me, Lord, don't hold it back. We're chasing truth on this winding track. It's all a game, but it cuts so deep. Every tale we sow, every promise we keep. Hearts on fire while we stoke the flame, dancing in the echoes of a name. What the fuss, what's the word today? Spill the tea, don't let it slip away. Tell me, Lord, don't hold it back. We're chasing truth on this winding track. It's all a game, but it cuts so deep. Every tale we sow, every promise we keep. Hearts on fire while we stoke the flame, dancing in the echoes of a name.
Well, hello, my friends. How are y'all doing today? Thank you all for coming back and hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. We're going to have a small group, I'm sure, but hey, we're going to have some fun. Just relax, just chill. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. Hello, Halo Bliss, Daisy Dukes, Daisy Duke Brown Eyes. I like that one. There you go. Got it all in one. I like it. Hey, Miss Kathy. So good to have everybody with us tonight. Want to be sleuthing. Look at her. Ooh. Going to grab a beverage. Kids weaseled me out of it. 2 early gifts. Man, go kiddos. Well, thank y'all for being here and everybody that's listening. Hello, hello. Hey, Fran. Good to have you back with us. Come on in. Y'all have a seat. I apologize for jumping off so quick earlier. Hey, SI officer. How are you? My granddaughter came up here and said, "We're home. We got home early. We still have time to go." And I was like, "Okay." So here we went. We took off. We went downtown. We went to the town of Bethlehem, got to see all the things. It was really cool. And then from there, we went downtown. And I'll show a video on my other channel. We'll do it. I'll show y'all the video of all the stuff. But downtown, we have a pumping unit, an old derrick pumping unit thingy. And they light it up every year as Rudolph. And then they have this Santa sleigh behind it. So we went downtown and saw that. So anyways, hey, Daniel. How you doing? You hang in there, buddy. Anyways. That was a running trip. It rained like crazy at first, then the rain pushed through, and it was a good night from there. But anyways, thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me get this pulled up real quick. I'm going to change over to my channel so I can get this video. And I'm not sure if I can play it on here. There might be a copyright to it. I don't know. If it does, I'll come back, but it was a really good video. And Texas is big. It's a big old place. And everybody keeps, asking me what it's like to live in Texas. Well, it depends on what part you're talking about. We have the most craziest landscape that goes from cactus to pine trees to fields to down south where you got the ranches and the mesquite trees, and down further south where you got the palm trees and all the things. And so I thought, we're gonna do this a little bit tonight just to have something different to do away from true crime and learn a little bit about Texas. And before we do, I'm going to play this video real quick that I made earlier. It is called My Texas. And I had to put a film reel sound in there, a sound effect, so the music will be very low because it is a copyrighted song. But since I'm not monetized, I'm not making anything off of this video. Hopefully it won't strike me. But believe it or not, all these pictures are pictures that I have taken. I have so many more, but I just picked a handful here. And so I'm going to show you what I've experienced in places I've been.
If you haven't climbed up to Enchanted Rock, take a cold shiner down and look and lock, taking your baby to the river walk. You ain't met my Texas yet. If you haven't floated down the El Frio, heard red dirt music on your radio, eating Coopers down in Leno, you ain't met my Texas yet. You haven't been to the Houston Rodeo, sing Carry On at a Black Green show. If you ain't seen an Abilene sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet. You never gotta drive down in Portage with the words of Corpus Christi Bay. Never seen fireworks on PK. You ain't met my Texas yet. Haven't had a Comanche when you go through West. Never heard of the Mary Jo Taylor Fest. Ain't polished pop country crap sounds the best. You ain't met my Texas yet. Haven't been to the Fort Worth stock show, sang along to Corey Moore. And if you ain't seen a hill country sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet. Say you haven't hiked through Big Bend, got your hair blown back by Lubbock wind, been somewhere where they call you friend. You ain't met my Texas yet. You haven't been to the San Antonio Rodeo, sang every clear of the Krager show. If you ain't seen an El Paso sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet. No, you ain't met my Texas yet.
Well, there you go, guys. That is some pictures that I've taken over the years. The picture of the bridge at sunset with that orange sunset, that is down around the Austin, Waco area. There is a bridge down there where everybody goes for sunset. And at sunset, all the bats come out from under that bridge and just fly. It's crazy. But a friend of mine that I had gone to school with was in a kayak and got that picture and sent it to me. So I put it in there for fun purposes. That was all the way from down south over west, up north, East Texas area, all the things. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of that. If you haven't been to or heard the song yet, it's called My Texas. It is by the Josh Abbott Band. It is a super great song. And so that one and She's Like Texas are two of my favorites. Hey, TJ, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Google what bats eat. I don't know if I want to know, but I remember when I was young because I lived in just outside of San Antonio, between there and New Braunfels, and we would just be laying out on the sidewalks and the driveways and stuff, and bats would just be swooping down all over the place because there are so many bridges and stuff there. But yeah, they're kind of cute, but they're kind of creepy at the same time. Anyways, I got this link in the description of this video, and you can always go back and get it and look at it. But all things Texas, guys, we're fixing to take a look and watch this video on things pertaining to Texas. Here we go. Let's see here. There's that Pat Green also saying with Josh Abbott for My Texas. And then Josh Abbott again. She's Like Texas. Love Josh Abbott Band. So here we go. Let's see. Wait, what? Let me go back. Hold on. Let me click it here. Here we go.
Texas, the land of immensity, where everything is bigger, wilder, truer. This is the story of 4 different worlds. The humid forests of the east, the Rocky Mountains of the west, the deserts of the south, and the infinite prairies of the north. A single state that encompasses the entire America. We'll discover prairies that in springtime become oceans of colorful flowers, wild coasts along the Gulf of Mexico, and historic cities where music fills the streets. But Texas is above all freedom. Boundless spaces where the eye gets lost on the horizon. Immense skies that at night fill with stars. Sparkling metropolises full of life. From historic ranches to natural reserves, from ghost towns to national parks, every corner tells a story of pioneers, cowboys, and untamed nature. Welcome to the Lone Star State, where adventure has no limits and every road leads toward infinity.
If you, just a little tidbit, If you were in East Texas, just right across the border from Louisiana, and you're driving all the way across West Texas over into New Mexico, it's going to take you about a good 13 hours, almost 14 hours to drive across horizontal from east to west in Texas. Top to bottom, it's a whole lot more. I think it's 17 hours total from the very tip of Texas to the very tip corner of the top of Texas up in the panhandle. And like I said, friends, it's all kinds. I mean, Texas has so much all in one state. My grandfather lived in the hill country, and when I was a little girl, I used to sit on his lap, look out his window, and have the binoculars because there was a mountain behind his house. And this is what we got to see every morning that I would go and stay with them.
Big Bend National Park. Imagine a place where time seems to have stopped millions of years ago. Big Bend is exactly that. 324,000 hectares of pure Chihuahuan desert, stretching all the way to the Mexican border, where the Rio Grande traces majestic curves between limestone canyons. The park's very name comes from this great bend of the river, and here the desert hides incredible secrets. The Chisos Mountains, which are the only mountains completely enclosed within a national park in America, rise like green islands from the desert. In their rocks hide fossils of the largest pterosaur ever discovered, with a wingspan of 12 meters. At night instead, Big Bend becomes one of the darkest places in America. Zero light pollution means you'll see the Milky Way like you've never seen it before, and the silence is so profound that you'll hear your own heartbeat.
Big Bend is one place that I went camping when I was very, very, very little, but I don't remember it, and I want to go back someday. It's always been on my bucket list because they say the sky at night in that Big Bend area is like no other sky you will ever see.
And if you're lucky, you might catch the gaze of one of the 150 mountain lions that call this wild corner of Texas home.
Want to be sleuthing. My brother's best friend, she lived kind of outside of Austin area, and there's a lot of deer that roam around in that area. And she was walking to her neighbor's house and had made some cookies she was taking to her neighbor. And out of nowhere came a deer. Ran up on her, jumped on her, kicked her, headbutted her. She ended up in the hospital for a while. She was all kinds of banged up. Them deer can do some definite damage, not only to your car, but to your whole entire body. Here we go.
Palo Duro Canyon. A descent of 240 meters through rock walls that tell 250 million years of history. Palo Duro Canyon is the second largest canyon in America and derives from the Spanish hardwood, precisely because of the junipers that grow here, which have particularly hard and resistant wood and can live for hundreds of years, perfectly adapting to the dry climate. But forget monotonous landscapes, because in this canyon, the rocks are an explosion of fire red, brilliant orange, and golden yellow, colors so intense they seem painted. Moreover, the Texas wind has sculpted extraordinary formations called hoodoos, pillars and spires of rock carved by erosion over the course of millions of years.
We're going to speed it up a little bit.
Every layer of rock is a page in Earth's book, because here once swam ancient mosasaurs when everything was ocean. While dinosaurs...
They can, Daniel. They can hurt people for sure. I don't know why it's glitchy.
Guadalupe Mountains National Park. At 2,667 meters above sea level, Guadalupe Peak is the highest summit in Texas. But the real magic of this park isn't just the altitude. Rather, it's what you find climbing up. You walk on one of the oldest and best preserved fossil coral reefs on the planet, 250 million years old. Indeed, when these rocks were forming, there was a tropical sea here, teeming with life. El Capitan, the 300-meter rock wall that dominates the landscape, was the wall of this ancient coral reef. McKittrick Canyon, instead, guards a special secret. In autumn, it transforms into a kaleidoscope of red, gold, and orange, with maples and oaks painting the canyon with colors that rival those of New England. This is the Texas you don't expect: wild, ancient, and incredibly beautiful.
This that you're fixing to see here is the most amazing place I think I've ever seen. I've stood on the top of that bluff there, looked down into it, and it's amazing. And to think that it is all naturally formed is just, it blows my mind, y'all. But it is such a beautiful place and out in the middle of nowhere.
Hamilton Pool Preserve. Imagine a natural pool that seems straight out of a dream. Hamilton Pool is a hidden gem in the heart of Texas Hill Country, where emerald water reflects limestone walls, 15 meters high. This isn't a normal little lake, but rather a cenote, that is, a collapsed cave that created a perfect pool under a waterfall that falls from above. The magic here is palpable. Prehistoric ferns hang from the humid rocks, while stalactites create a natural ceiling above the water. The place is so fragile that you need a reservation to visit it, because too many human feet could ruin this perfect balance, built over thousands of years.
You never see a ton of people there. You never see big, huge crowds there because you have to have a reservation to go down into the area.
This is definitely the type of place that makes you believe in the magic of nature. Fredericksburg.
This is a town here in West Texas that most of the wine that comes from Texas pretty much almost guaranteed comes from Fredericksburg. And it is the cutest town out in the middle of nowhere, and you can kind of see way out there's nothing, and all of a sudden you're up in this cute little town, got all of these super cute shops. It is amazing getaway place.
Welcome to the little Germany of Texas. Fredericksburg catapults you directly into Bavaria, but with cowboys instead of Bavarian costumes. This little town was founded in 1846 by German immigrants who brought with them traditions, architecture, and above all, the passion for beer and sausages. Today, the main streets are a fascinating mix of Victorian houses that alternate with German-style buildings, while Texan barbecue joints coexist with authentic German breweries. But the real surprise? Fredericksburg has become the Texan capital of wine, thanks to the surrounding hills that host dozens of vineyards, which produce excellent wines thanks to the ideal climate. Furthermore,
There is a winery there that I went to that is called the Big Ass Winery. And you go to these wineries out there, you get these sipping trays, and you just sample all the wine that they have. It's amazing. And they show you the process, and a lot of places show a reel playing on a screen where you can see the whole process and how they go about making the wine. It's really cool.
during the local Oktoberfest, the city explodes with music, traditional dances, and rivers of beer. Blanco River. The Blanco River flows through the heart of Texas, but don't let the name white fool you, which derives from Spanish.
For those of you that don't know, blanco is the word in Spanish that means white.
Indeed, the water here isn't murky or whitish, but crystal clear like glass, so transparent that you can see every pebble on the bottom. This river is also paradise for those seeking adventure, but without too many risks. Its shallow waters are ideal for tubing, that is floating on an inner tube following the current, which is practically a rite of passage for Texans.
Oh yeah, if you live in Texas, you got to go tubing. I'm telling you, the most relaxing fun that you could ever have is getting a tube and floating down the rivers. It's amazing.
Along the banks, sushes create green tunnels that filter sunlight, but the Blanco also has a wild side. And that is, during sudden floods, it can transform into an impetuous torrent, and it's precisely this contrast that makes it fascinating. Texas families know it well. One moment placid like a mirror, the next powerful like a wild horse. Pedernales River. This river carries the Spanish name meaning stony, and you can immediately understand why. The Pedernales sculpts the Texan landscape, creating breathtaking canyons and natural pools framed by light-colored rocks that shine in the sun in contrast with the green of the surrounding woods. This is also the river that raised a president because Lyndon Johnson spent his childhood here, swimming and fishing in these waters.
That is some of the coolest places to go along this Pedernales River here. That is just amazing. There's places you can camp. You walk down there. There's pockets of it that gets deeper. There's other places where you can just sit in the water. You can lay in the water and just walk. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous place.
Today you can visit his ranch and see where the 36th American president made the most important decisions, often sitting right on the banks. But returning to the river, the water flows over wide slabs of smooth limestone, creating natural rapids and deep pools, perfect for a refreshing dive. In spring, the banks transform into a carpet of colors, and this also contributes to making it a place where time slows down, and where every curve of the river reveals a new wonder, sculpted by nature over millions of years.
Miss Rhonda used to live in Texas. She said it's like another country. But don't miss the hurricanes. I'm telling you, them hurricanes are rough. Even when you're 2 hours away from the coast, you still get effects from it sometimes. Daniel says, Mama Lolly, are you Danish as well? No, I'm not Danish. I'm just country. That's it. Just country, born and raised.
Houston. The fourth most populous city in the United States, extends into the vastness of eastern Texas. Houston initially prospered as a port center, then transformed into the energy capital with the discovery of oil at Spindletop in 1901. The Museum District hosts 19 cultural institutions in a walkable area, where the Museum of Fine Arts preserves works spanning from Egyptian antiquity to contemporary art. In nearby Herman Park instead, the Japanese garden offers an oasis of tranquility among curved bridges and streams.
Herman Park is probably one of the coolest places in Texas. I mean, in Houston area there, because there is so many things always happening, always going on. You got little festivals that pop up out there. You got all kinds of arts and activities and things that are just always happening. And it is a really cool, quiet place to a sorts in the middle of that big, huge city. And just so y'all know, I live just probably about 2.5 hours from downtown Houston. They do still have the amphitheater. Yes, ma'am, Miss Rhonda. Oh, and then during hurricanes, speaking of hurricanes, Miss Rhonda, when Harvey came through, which was just a tropical depression storm, but it stalled out over Houston, this whole entire park area. You couldn't even see the park. It was completely underwater.
And you know what strikes you most about this city? Its incredible diversity. Here, indeed, over 145 different languages are spoken, and neighborhoods change flavor every few blocks.
Guys, I did not even know there were 143 different languages to be spoken. But I can totally understand it because you go to walking down the streets in downtown Houston, you're going to hear just about any language you want to ever hear. You're going to hear it down there.
They often come alive with Tejano music, hip-hop, or country, while food trucks serve tacos and barbecue until dawn.
Oh, and them taco trucks and food trucks, yum, yum, yum. They are amazing. I paused it right here because this white building here on the right side of your screen is actually a hospital. And this is exactly where my daughter had her brain surgery when she was 16. And that's where we were.
Dallas. Welcome to the city that redefined the American skyline.
You know, it's really sad because Dallas is known for the assassination of JFK. Dallas has the most beautiful architecture, buildings, shapes, colors, designs, every which way you look. If you look at the skyline in Dallas, it's probably one of the prettiest places you'll ever see.
Indeed, precisely its skyline reveals the story of a city born from oil and transformed into a financial center. Skyscrapers didn't exist here in the 70s, but now they dominate the horizon with their glass reflecting the Texas sun. Today, among the skyscrapers, residents still remember when this land was full of cowboys and ranches just 100 years ago. But now the city has become so important that it hosts more major companies than many Americans combined. During weekends, parks fill with families grilling barbecue, while country and hip-hop music mix in the air. And then there's the Trinity River, which crosses the metropolis, connecting neighborhoods.
Okay, I want to stop this right here because talking about the Trinity River, y'all recall when we talked about little Audrey Cunningham, who was found not far from where I live here in East Texas. This water flows from Dallas all the way down just south of where I live. And this is the exact same river, not the spot, not the location, but it's the same water that flows downward that little Audrey was in.
Neighborhoods that otherwise would never meet. Austin.
I'm going to pause it right here because we've talked about this lake right here. Y'all recall when we talked about Lady Bird Lake and all the bodies that were found in this area. That's it. That's what we're looking at. And then in a little while, you're going to see the bayous of Houston as well.
It's the capital of Texas, but it's very different from what you'd expect. It defines itself as the live music capital of the world and has a unique and progressive spirit. The city is full of venues where live music is played, but it's also an important center for technology, which attracts innovators from around the world. The city's motto is Keep Austin Weird, and you can see it in the street art, creative food trucks, and bohemian neighborhoods. At the center of the city is Lady Bird Lake, a green oasis perfect for kayaking or stand-up paddling. A bit further west instead, you'll find Lake Austin, where the characteristic bridges that cross its waters create picturesque scenery, while along the
Guys, you see this bridge right here in front of us? That is one of those bridges you can walk across, and at sunset, the bats will just swarm out of it. It's crazy.
shores, elegant villas and venues with panoramic terraces alternate, offering a privileged view of the sunsets that paint the gentle Texas hills red. San Antonio. The cultural heart of Texas fuses Spanish colonial history, Texan pride, and vibrant Mexican-American culture.
This is the Riverwalk in San Antonio. I graduated right outside of San Antonio towards just before New Braunfels, and we had our senior prom at an event center there on the Riverwalk. This is a big part of my childhood.
The River Walk, a network of walkways along the San Antonio River, is the beating heart of the city with its restaurants, shops, and tourist boats.
There's the building, the big tall building back there is where my senior prom was held.
At night, the colored lights that illuminate the bridges and trees transform the river into a magical setting where live music and cooking aromas fill the air.
And you don't go to the Riverwalk unless y'all are wanting something to eat, because, oh my goodness, at all of these open areas that you can just walk in and out of and stroll up and down the Riverwalk, and the food and the aroma, it is amazing. And during, just a little side note too, during St. Patrick's Day, that water gets bright green food coloring put into it. And the whole river is green, and they have a river boat parade for St. Patrick's Day.
The Alamo, symbol of the fight for Texas independence, tells a story of courage and sacrifice. The Spanish missions, instead, a UNESCO heritage site, offer a glimpse into colonial life. Continuing, the Pearl District, which is a former brewery transformed into a trendy neighborhood, exemplifies the city's urban renaissance.
You know, there was this Pearl beer way back in the day. And this is the area that it was housed at, the manufacturing place was. And yeah, this is a really cool place. It is very, very neat.
With its unique mix of history, culture, and modernity, San Antonio offers an authentic and surprising Texan experience. Fort Worth. If Dallas is the future, Fort Worth is the authentic soul of Texas. Imagine a city where cowboys still walk the streets wearing boots and hats, but they do so alongside brokers in suits and ties.
Most businessmen in the big cities Wear them suits, wear them ties, have them cowboy boots shined up, and a lot of them still to this day wear that big old cowboy hat too.
Welcome to Fort Worth, where the soul of the far west still pulses strong in the heart of modern Texas. The Fort Worth Stockyards is where the cowboy myth comes to life. Here every day at 11:30 and 4 p.m., you can witness the cattle drive, which is a parade of real Texas Longhorns crossing the main street, just like they did 150 years ago.
Hey, you heard it, folks. Every day you can be on the sidewalk and you can watch the longhorn steers traipsing through the middle of town. They will never ever change that. They will continue to do that. They go down to the auction house where people buy the cattle, and they'll have their trailers load them up, take them over to their new homes and things. It's really crazy, but such a cool experience at the same time.
It's a show you won't find anywhere else in the world. Moreover, the city's cultural districts host prestigious historic buildings, like the Tarrant County Courthouse, a majestic courthouse in Romanesque style that dominates downtown with its imposing clock tower, symbol of Texas pioneering heritage. And as the sun sets, historic saloons fill with live country music. Fort Worth is like
Random trader, yes. Lots of them are being built around here. But I'm going to pretty much promise they will not take over. Billy Bob's. Yes, Miss Fran. Billy Bob's. If you ever go to Fort Worth area, you got to see the stockyards. Go down there, watch the cattle run. And that evening, go to Billy Bob's of Texas, where some of the best country music you'll ever experience, dancing and everything. Oh, there was a protest in Plano today for it. Oh, my goodness.
that. One foot in the past and one in the present, but always with the right boots on.
El Paso, a whole different world, but yet all still in the same state, guys. I mean, even the landscape is completely different.
Paso. Look out from the Franklin Mountains, and you'll have a breathtaking view, with 3 countries, 2 states, and 2 time zones meeting in a single panorama. The city of El Paso borders directly with Ciudad Juarez in Mexico and Las Cruces in New Mexico, creating a cultural melting pot unique in the world.
And this is the bridge to get from the United States into Mexico, and from Mexico into the United States. Coming the other direction is another bridge that looks just like this.
Here, the border isn't just a line on the map, but rather a living culture. Over 80% of the population is of Hispanic origin, and walking through downtown, you hear a perfect mix of English and Spanish, which tells 400 years of shared history. But El Paso also surprises for other reasons. Indeed, it's one of the safest cities in America, despite prejudices about borders.
That is crazy to me, because you got the safest city, one of the safest cities, and yet it is bordering the border of Mexico, where the cartel is rampant.
And there's also Franklin Mountain State Park, which offers hiking trails with panoramic views of the desert, while the Historic Center tells a story of trade between the United States and Mexico. El Paso is the perfect bridge between two worlds, where diversity isn't just tolerated, but celebrated every day.
My favorite place to go of all times, Galveston, Texas. I absolutely love this place. The pier that you see on the right, it has little rides that you can do. Murdoch's is the next little place on the right down there. It's a little shop that you can go in and buy all things beach. It is a fun and exciting town. I absolutely love going there.
Galveston. Galveston is the Phoenix of Texas. That is a city that was reborn from its own ashes after being completely destroyed.
Just a little fun history here. After the 1900 hurricane that completely wiped out the city of Galveston, flattened it, I think they said it was about 89% of their population was missing due to that huge hurricane that came in. And as they were cleaning up all the debris and things, this center point right here, this little square that you see in that monument, is to remember those from that hurricane. And the bodies that were being found were brought to that center high point right there. They had built up a high point and dug to where they could put all the bodies there, because they couldn't even reach any cemeteries to get to them, because they were all just trashed and destroyed, and things were everywhere, and it was just a rubble of wood, because all the houses were of wood basically back then. And then they brought in, when they were through, tons of seashells from down at Galveston, there on the coastline, and covered that whole area right there. That whole middle road is all covered with seashells. And as you drive in, you drive over people, basically. But it's what they had to do back in 1900. And after that is when they built the seawall to help keep some of those storms from coming all the way up in and destroying homes. But there are some gorgeous homes in Galveston that are very old.
In 1900, the most devastating hurricane in American history swept away this prosperous port city, killing thousands of people. But Galvestonians didn't give up.
This is some debris from when Harvey came in. It hit Galveston pretty hard, and these streets were completely flooded. The water was almost up to the doors, to the top of the doors to all of these buildings through here, and stuff was just floating everywhere. And that wasn't too long back.
Today, Galveston is an architectural jewel overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. The Strand District transports you to the Victorian era with its restored historic buildings, while the famous pier extends into the ocean. The beaches, moreover, have a particular beauty, with golden sand meeting clear waters and pelicans and seagulls hanging around the coast. But it's the contrast that makes Galveston special, thanks to refined historic palaces alternating with surf shacks, or elegant gourmet restaurants coexisting with fish and chip stands. It's a city that has learned to build not only seawalls, but also a resilience that you can breathe in the salty air. Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, the place where I was born. This is my birth town. I was born in Corpus Christi. My parents were born in Corpus Christi. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, all the things. They are very scary. They can be very, very scary, yes. But Corpus Christi is a beautiful coastal place. It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of you, I think, might remember Selena, the Latino singer that hit the pop scene pretty good. And then all of a sudden she was unalived. There is a place on the seawall here in Corpus, because that is her hometown and where she lived, that has a whole tribute to her.
This is a name that promises spirituality, but in reality it's pure marine adrenaline. This seaside city is where Texas meets the Gulf of Mexico, in a spectacular embrace of infinite beaches and turquoise waters. Corpus Christi Bay is a paradise for water sports like kite surfing, windsurfing, and sailing, because here the wind is always perfect, constant, and never too strong. The waterfront winds for kilometers, dotted with swaying palms and fishermen casting their lines toward the horizon. But the real star is the USS Lexington, a World War II aircraft carrier transformed into a floating museum. Going aboard means touching history with your hands, walking where heroes served their country.
We took the kids here to the Lexington when they were young, and my son, the youngest one, he started talking to some man in this room that was like the doctor's area inside that ship. He started talking to a man, and it's like there wasn't a man in there. I don't know what he was seeing, but yeah, people were just like, oh, and backing away from that room.
Finally, at sunset, the sun dives into the Gulf, painting everything gold and red, and this city reveals its true soul. South Padre Island.
You leave out of Corpus and head south, and you're going to South Padre Island. The best place to go to swim, to hang out at the beach, emerald water. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Welcome to paradise. South Padre Island is the Riviera of Texas. That is a ribbon of white sand, 55 kilometers long, separating the mainland from the Gulf of Mexico. But it's not just a beach. That swimming feels like floating in a giant turquoise bathtub. During the sea turtle season, moreover, you can witness an ancient spectacle, with mothers coming to lay eggs on the shore, just as their ancestors did millions of years ago.
That's always been on my bucket list, to see little baby turtles going out to the sea. They are so stinking cute. I've always wanted to see that.
The island anyway has two personalities, because during the day it's the realm of families, with children building castles and parents relaxing under multicolored umbrellas. At sunset instead, it transforms into the Texan capital of fun, with beach bars serving frozen margaritas and music mixing with the sound of waves. Port Aransas.
Hey, Sammy G, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Texas. We're doing a little video here on Texas. Port Aransas is just north of Corpus Christi. They're so close, but they're so different. And Port A is just a very small place, but it is so cool to go to. And you have to actually ride a ferry to even get out to Port Aransas Island, to the beach.
Port A, that's what the locals call it, with that affection reserved for places of the heart. This little...
Well, Sammy, maybe watching all this beach and stuff here in Texas, it might warm you up. We don't get blizzards down here. My goodness. I would love it if it would just snow here. The kiddos would have so much fun, but we're lucky if we get a couple of flakes of snow a year.
Fishing village on Mustang Island has preserved the authentic soul of coastal Texas, where pickup trucks with kayaks on the roof are more common than cars.
Mustang Island, the hottest spring break beach of all. When I was in school in San Antonio, Mustang Island was a place to go for spring break. It's absolutely crazy, but so much fun.
Life revolves around fishing, with piers filling with fishermen of every age, from grandfathers teaching grandchildren how to cast their hooks, to tourists discovering the excitement of their first caught fish. But Port Aransas also hides a secret. Indeed, there are some of the most beautiful beaches in Texas, where you can drive directly on the sand by the shore. It's Texan freedom in its pure state, where the ocean meets the sky in an embrace that lasts forever. Buffalo Bayou. In the heart of Houston flows a secret. This is the watercourse that gave birth to the fourth largest city in America. Bayou is a Creole word indicating slow and meandering waterways, a sort of Louisiana river, but here in urban Texas.
And yes, there are gators in that river, that bayou right there. There's some nasty stuff up in that bayous. Talk about murky water. That's exactly what the
Indeed,
bayous are.
this isn't a normal city river. Buffalo Bayou is a green oasis, flowing between glass and steel skyscrapers, creating a surreal contrast. You can paddle by kayak literally in the center of a metropolis, with herons fishing peacefully, while above you traffic flows fast on the highways. The bayou also has a troubled history because it was born as a commercial route for ships carrying cotton, but today it's reborn as a park where locals jog, fish, and discover that their city has a green soul. Lavon Lake. 20 kilometers northeast of Dallas, Lavon Lake is a body of water that knows how to surprise first-time visitors.
Guys, this lake is very close up towards the Texas-Oklahoma borderline. And it is absolutely beautiful.
This artificial basin of over 8,000 hectares, born in 1953, represents everything that makes modern Texas fascinating. Accessible nature, recreation, and that feeling of escaping the city without going too far. Its shores are dotted with well-maintained parks and hiking trails, while the Trinity River waters create bays and inlets perfect for every type of aquatic adventure. Local fishermen will tell you that bass and catfish abound, but Lavon's true treasure is its versatility. From family beaches to equipped campgrounds, from horseback trails to boat ramps, this is where you understand why this lake has become the green lung of one of Texas's most dynamic metropolitan areas. Lake Caddo.
Lake Caddo is in East Texas. It's a little northeast. It's only just probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from where I'm at. And it's almost as if you're in the swamps of Louisiana.
Get ready to enter another world. Lake Caddo doesn't even seem like Texas. Rather, it seems like wild Louisiana, transplanted to the eastern border of the state. This is the only large natural lake in Texas, an aquatic labyrinth of about 100 square kilometers, covered by a forest of cypresses that seems straight out of a Tim Burton movie. These trees grow directly from the water, with their roots forming protrusions that emerge from the surface, like prehistoric creatures. Among these green giants, the water is dark like coffee, colored by tannins from falling leaves. It's a unique ecosystem and home to alligators, herons, and over 200 species of birds. Navigating here by canoe means exploring hidden channels and secret lagoons, where silence is broken only by the cry of a heron or the call of a beaver. Lake Possum Kingdom. This gigantic mirror of water was born in the 40s when a dam was built on the Brazos River, creating one of Texas's most spectacular lakes. The lake is famous for Hell's Gate, and while the name sounds ominous, it's not as scary as it suggests. It's simply a narrow passage between two high rocky walls. The waters, moreover, wind for 310 kilometers of jagged coastline, among rocky hills that shine in the sun, while the name derives from old settlements of opossum hunters, which are the only native marsupials of North America. Franklin Mountain State Park. Stop for a moment. Are you really in Texas? The Franklin Mountains seem transported directly from Arizona, with their harsh peaks rising from the desert like castles of ancient stone. These mountains are the northernmost of the chain that crosses Mexico, and are rocky peaks that tell a geological story of even 1 billion years. When you look at these rocks, you're observing some of the oldest formations in North America, older than complex life on Earth. The park is anyway a paradise for those who love serious trekking, with trails that climb steep slopes where cacti of impossible shapes grow, and where the silence of the desert is broken only by the whistle of wind through the rocks. From the highest point, North Franklin Peak, El Paso stretches at your feet toward the Rio Grande.
This is another place that I have yet to go, but I so want to go here. I have heard about it so many times, seen pictures, and it is the coolest place that I want to go to one day.
Monaghan Sandhills State Park. Welcome to the Texan Sahara. The sand dunes of Monaghan's extend for thousands of kilometers, creating a landscape so surreal that it seems like you're not on Earth. These formations, however, aren't coastal dunes, because we're hundreds of kilometers from the ocean, but the sand is still fine and golden like that of the most beautiful beaches. The sand indeed comes from very far away, and is pure quartz transported by wind from the mountains of New Mexico, and deposited here grain by grain until forming these hills. The dunes, moreover, are as if they were alive, because they change shape every day, redesigned by the wind like an artist who's never satisfied with his work. But the most fun part is that you can go sandboarding. Take a board and slide down the dunes as if it were snow. It's an adventure that mixes the excitement of skiing with the magic of the desert under the Texan sky.
This is the capital of Texas, Austin, Texas. The most beautiful Capitol building. Well, I've been in a few Capitol buildings at different places, but this one is absolutely gorgeous.
Texas State Capitol. Texans couldn't accept having a government building shorter than the federal one, so they built their state capitol 4 meters taller than Washington's.
Go big or go home, right? That's a Texas motto right there.
But this is simply pure Texan spirit. If you can't be the best, at least be the biggest. The pink dome dominates Austin's skyline and is made of granite extracted from local quarries, which gives it that unique color that changes with the light of day. Inside, every detail tells the story of Texas, with frescoes celebrating independence, mosaics representing the 6 flags that have flown over Texan territory, and corridors that recall decisions that change the state's destiny. The surrounding gardens are a museum, with every tree having its story. For example, there's the live oak planted by the Cherokee, the blue bonnets that bloom blue in spring, and monuments honoring Texan heroes. Waco.
I don't know if many of you have ever watched like the home networking shows and stuff. There is the Magnolia channel with Chip and Joanna Gaines. They are from Waco. They have their own little network on TV called the Magnolia channel. They bought some silos, created some shopping. There's places to go and things to do. All of it is here in this beautiful little town called Waco, the coolest, quaintest town in Texas.
A city on the Brazos River that has managed to completely reinvent itself. Waco, indeed, was famous for wrong reasons, or rather for tragic events in the 90s that had put it on the map for reasons it preferred to forget. Today, however, it's the Texan capital of design and good living. Cameron Park East offers one of the most beautiful urban parks in Texas, with over 400 hectares of wild nature, crossed by panoramic trails that overlook the river, creating a green lung in the heart of the city. But Waco is also a lively university town, home to Baylor University, where the majestic McLean Stadium dominates the urban landscape with its modern architecture, and where on game days the entire city is painted in green and gold colors. Along the Brazos, moreover, there are bike paths and parks that create a green oasis where students and families gather to enjoy Texan life at the right pace. This place is proof that every city can rewrite its own story. Natural Bridge Caverns.
Now, guys, this has been a place that has existed for many, 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 many moons and moons and moons ago. And it has got to be one of the marvelous wonders of the world to be able, I don't know if any of y'all have ever gone into some natural caves like this. This was not far from where I lived, and we took an 8th grade field trip to go here. But the sight inside there is amazing. It is so quiet. Everything kind of echoes. You go through and you're just in awe of everything you see, and you continuously hear the drops of little droplets of water that just kind of drip. And the droplets of water, it just echoes. It's amazing.
18 meters underground, a world that seems straight out of a fantasy book awaits you. Natural Bridge Caverns owes its name to the natural limestone bridge that forms the entrance to these caves, which formed drop by drop over millions of years. Water has sculpted these underground cathedrals, where stalactites and stalagmites create like stone forests that even have poetic names. The temperature down here is constant all year, with about 21 degrees, and is natural relief from the Texas summer heat. Moreover, as you walk along the paths, the silence is almost tangible, broken only by the dripping of water, which continues its sculpting work. It's a true journey to the center of the earth, where every step reveals new wonders hidden in the bowels of the rock. Lydia Ann Lighthouse. by boat can you reach this solitary guardian of the Gulf of Mexico. The Lydia Ann Lighthouse rises on a rocky islet off Port Aransas and is a white sentinel that for over a century has guided sailors home. Built in 1857, this lighthouse has seen American history pass by. From Confederate ships during the Civil War, through merchant vessels loaded with cotton, to modern yachts sailing for pleasure. Its light has cut through fogs, storms, and moonless nights. It has been a beacon of hope in the darkness of the sea. Cadillac Ranch.
This is the one Texas Plain Jane asked me today about. One of the videos I had, the last intro video, not the one we're doing now, but the one I did before, shows a picture of my son and my granddaughters walking up here to the Cadillacs. It's a really cool story and has turned into such an amazing place to stop out in the middle of nowhere.
10 Cadillacs, buried in the ground, nose down in the middle of nowhere, in the Amarillo area. It seems like a vision. Instead, it's pure art. Cadillac Ranch is the most photographed and shared installation, a pop icon that transforms the Route 66 journey into a surreal experience. In 1974, a group of hippie artists called Ant Farm convinced an eccentric millionaire to plant these cars in his ranch. The idea was to show the evolution of Cadillac tail fins from 1949 to 1963. Each car represents a different year, buried at the same angle as the Pyramid of Giza.
As you can see right here when I pause it, absolutely nothing around. Nothing. It's just these cars sticking up out of the ground. But people stop and they go there, and it is the coolest thing. And you see all the coloring around on the sand around those cars, because all that paint over time will wear off and things and get into the sand, and as the wind blows it over, and it's a really cool thing.
But the brilliant part is that anyone can bring spray cans and decorate the cars. They've been repainted thousands of times, from marriage proposals to love messages to political protests. Everything ends up on these Cadillacs. It's participatory art in its pure state. And anyway, 10 dead cars have become immortal. This, therefore, is Texas.
Daniel, that was just people with spray paint going to these cars and just putting their artwork on there. And recently, after Charlie Kirk was unalived, they took them and sprayed them all completely red, white, and blue.
A kaleidoscope of natural and cultural wonders that challenge the imagination. And if you want to explore other fantastic places in America and around the world, choose from our playlist that you'll find here on the right.
All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all liked watching that. I wanted to do that more than anything just because people ask me all the time, what's it like to live in Texas? But as y'all can see watching this, it depends on where you live in Texas. It depends on what part of Texas you're talking about, because Texas is like a whole country in itself. There is everything you could imagine all within the state of Texas. So next time you ask somebody that you meet that's from Texas and want to say, hey, what's it like to live in Texas? Do y'all have cows? Do y'all have horses or whatever? Just ask them what's it like in your part of the neck of the woods there in Texas. What part are you in? Because there's so much to the state of Texas. Thank you, Miss Kathy. I'm glad y'all liked it. I hope y'all did. And if there's another place that y'all want to do, we can pull up some more stuff like that. I don't know if y'all enjoy that or not, but I got to share with y'all during this video parts of my life, things that I've experienced at several of these places. And so all of those things put together kind of has made me who I am today a little bit. I live in East Texas, where about an hour and a half to 2 hours before sunset, we're getting dark because the sun's down on the other side of the trees. The tall pines, we don't get to see the sun completely go down. But yes, this coming up week, Daniel, we're going to do a members live. We're going to do some true crime trivia. That's what we'll be doing. And this week we're going to go over Sebastian some more. And we're going to try to do some different things. And over here, I want to get this channel kind of up and going. We're just a little over 500 subs, very little watch time. I have to have the watch hours to be able to make anything from this channel as well, but I would like to do it. And oh, you're welcome, Miss Rhonda. Miss Rhonda lived on our side of Texas over here when she lived here. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. But if y'all have something you want to watch or look into, or if it's historic wise, or if it's, a different state or anything like that, and it's your area and you want to come up and talk about it, let's do it. I'm all about it. This channel over here is for us to do what we want to do, how we want to do it, and anything but true crime. Well, guys, I'm going to play for anybody that missed it earlier, My Texas. And Daniel, you might want to turn your volume down a little bit. But we'll play this before we get out of here. But thank y'all for doing this with me. Thanks for hanging out. I know we had a really small crowd, but sometimes small is super fun, super good. Hey, Pink Warrior. Oh, Kelly, you're welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of people don't quite know all the things about Texas and how vast it is. And even, just the terrain, it changes. I drive from my house in East Texas over to West Texas to where my best friend lives. And I'm going through piney woods into some some cattle areas, a little hilly, and into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the city metropolis area there, and over into the plains and stuff like that. So it's like I go through 3 or 4 different regions of Texas. So, oh, good. Kelly, see, Kelly was crafting while listening. I can't wait to get my own place and get my stuff out of storage. I want to make some wreaths, and y'all can watch me make a wreath, and we'll talk and hang out and do some stuff. That's what this channel is going to be about. We're just going to make it what we want it to be. So that was all a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to play the video that I played at the beginning. It does kind of have some loud noise to it, but all the pictures I took, except for the one that was sent to me, even the one on the river floating, we had some waterproof cameras. So, and even the Alamo picture, it was dusk. It was beautiful. And I happened to snap a picture of it there. It does. Texas does black dragonfly. Texas changes from east to west, north to south. It's whichever direction you go. It's crazy. So glad you're here with us, Black Dragonfly. So I'm going to play this for y'all and let y'all see my Texas and the places that I've been. And then when I'm through, I'm just going to go ahead and get us out of here. So thank y'all all so much. If you know anybody wants to know about Texas, share this video out, guys. Let's get some watch hours on it, and let's get us doing better over here as well. And we'll just keep doing stuff like this. But I love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for seeing my Texas. Till tomorrow, guys. I'll be on the other channel tomorrow. Y'all look for me there. Love and hugs.
If you haven't climbed up to Enchanted Rock, break your cold shiner down and looking rock, taking your baby to the river walk. If you ain't met my Texas yet, if you haven't floated down the El Frio, heard red dirt music on your radio, eating Coopers down in Leno, you ain't met my Texas yet. You haven't been to the Houston Rodeo, say carry on at a Black Green show. If you ain't seen an Abilene sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet.
You never gotta drive down in Port A, heard the words of Corpus Christi Bay. Never seen fireworks on PK. You ain't met my Texas yet. Haven't had a girl like you when you go through West. Never heard of the Mary Jo Taylor Fest. Ain't polished pop country crap sounds the best. You ain't met my Texas yet. You haven't been to the Fort Worth stock show, sang along to Corey Moore. If you ain't seen a hill country sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet.
Say you haven't hiked through Big Bend, got your hair blown back by Lubbock wind, been somewhere where they call you friend. You ain't met my Texas yet. You haven't been to the San Antonio Rodeo, singing a clear of the Traeger show. If you ain't seen an El Paso sunset, you ain't met my Texas yet. No, you ain't met my Texas yet.